in the first part of this interview, we talk about the social media sector in Singapore. Now we're going to focus on the new developments in social media. So Anna, I think first you can describe a bit for everyone hearing and listening to this interview your role in the company.
Mm-hmm. So I develop infrastructures and models of deep learning. So deep learning is one rank inside artificial intelligence, so that those models can help us with detection of what's going on in the videos, right? So in my case, since I work for TikTok, it's mostly video content, right? And also like some text and stuff like that. So we use this information to be able to say whether the content is okay, not okay, what kind of category it belongs to. So then afterwards we can use it for recommendation, or we can use it to map to advertisers. So maybe Nike, for instance, wants to advertise for people that practice sports or that are interested in sports, right? So we will want to be near sporting content. So things like that, we develop this kind of models and technologies and deploy them in a platform so that it's a much more interesting and safer space.
Yes. So talking about safer space, I know that you may see videos in this kind of social media that are violent, inappropriate content. How is inside the platform, so inside your company and inside the rest of the social media companies, being controlled those kind of videos? Are they filtered manually? So that means there's a person who has to watch all this kind of violent content, which I assume it will be horrible and pretty traumatizing for them, and they will lead to a complete burnout in their work, I assume. Or are you, not you specifically, meaning the social media platforms, developing new ways and new technologies to kind of have a better filter?
So one very important thing is that this content cannot go into the platform, right? That's very crucial. Also, we cannot be censoring things that is maybe not appropriate, right? So there's quite a spectrum. So the way we do this, we will train artificial intelligence models that will be able to give you how probable, like the probability of how likely it is that this content does not belong in the app.
Exactly.
Right? So because we cannot let anything slide, we have a very low threshold. So with like, even if the probability is very low, someone will still check it out, right? And there will need to be like a person behind to say like, no, this is okay. Like, don't worry, this can pass. And then obviously there's some content that is pretty obviously not okay, and then we can save the person to travel having to look at that. But in order to get that, we need pretty good models, and at the root of it, we eventually need data to train them, right? So it's true that eventually we need to get some of that content, like possibly like from staged scenarios. So maybe you just get like pretty horror movies or like stuff like that, so you can start from some steps so that the person doesn't need to see like very bad things. But yeah, there's always a human step, because otherwise you would have like many angry users like, why did you block my content,
So
I wasn't showing anything that's wrong, but
exactly.
why is it blocked?
And
A very clear case is the breastfeeding, right? So we could be detecting this as sexual content because it's nudity, right? And maybe the user is like, no, I'm just breastfeeding my kid, and so the human label is gonna be like, okay, this is okay, this is not okay.
Yeah, it's a tricky subject, but I think with the development of kind of these technologies, the threshold will be kind of lower, and the people will just see the minimum probability of this kind of violent content in a way. There's also more and less disturbing content, right? So maybe we can have like a more wide spectrum from, say, nudity. Like maybe it's not going to traumatize us as much as like some kinds of violence. So definitely a different content requires different kind of thresholds or care into how we filter it. Yes, so Anna, we have discussed this debate that exists, but now there's the social debate regarding the algorithm. Because when we're inside the social media platforms, we're seeing content that we like, and kind of the algorithm knows what content they can show us. and we will be hooked in a way to this content, and as a consequence to this platform. But it kind of creates this bubble that may block us and may not let us look into more content, more information. So what are the pros and cons of this algorithm?
Yeah, so I think there's two different kinds of content shared on those social media platforms, right? On the one hand, you have the entertainment. On the other hand, you have the information.
Yes.
Right? And it's a very different way of treating them, or it should be. Right? So for me, I'm sick of the platform showing me makeup tutorials and wedding planning thingies and babies just because I'm in my early 30s, and I don't care about those things. Right? I would rather see all the things. So if you can see into who I follow or what I usually look at or what I like, then maybe you're gonna be able to show me things that interest me a little bit more, right? And then I will be more driven to your platform.
Exactly.
So that's one thing. The other thing is the information. So with the information, we also have misinformation, but there's also just information. If we go into politics or socially and stuff like that, it's true that when you start going in a direction, you may end up in this little bubble, and if you don't get to see anything from out of the bubble, you will not question things that you're being told, right? Now, this is a very tricky situation, because if I am part of a bubble and the platform starts showing me and a pretty narrow bubble, because maybe if my bubble is big, then I may be okay with seeing things out of my bubble, but if my bubble is very narrow and then the platform starts showing me things from out of the bubble, I may think, oh, the platform is trying to manipulate me into believing these other things, right? Yeah. And I don't want to be manipulated, right? Because I have my very strong beliefs in here. So we could say that the platform could be responsible for people not being in bubbles. But the problem is, if the platform starts doing this, the people in the bubbles, they're just going to leave, because they're going to think that they're being manipulated, right? And maybe they even get even more polarized. So that's a very difficult scenario for the platform itself. And also it's very hard for us to automatically detect the biases or what is true and what is not even. It's a very tricky problem. And if you think it from the business perspective, if you're trying to unbias a little bit this person, you may lose them anyway. So you didn't help in the unbiased, and you also lost
a customer.
A customer, basically, right? So this is for business, in all ways of looking at it. The main thing that we need to make sure is that we are not the cause of this bias, right? So if the person is shifting, just don't make it a faster shift, right? Just we need to try to not to cause the bias.
Yes, but at the end of the day, the person is responsible for their beliefs and the need to discover more information and to be more open.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, that should be something compulsory at schools, right? So schools should be teaching kids to not be convinced or to be critical, right? Not to believe everything or to think a little bit what other people think, and try to get their own opinions, not to make them in. But this is not the platform's responsibility, unless the platform is causing the bias, which is what I believe we are all trying to avoid.
Exactly. So really important, education at school and education also at home. Yeah. And regarding that, is this Singaporean, the government or the country itself, is it doing something to ensure a safer social media usage? And I know that there are a lot of developments regarding this technology in Singapore, maybe 3D generate. And so what are the pros of having this new technology, and also how to ensure that they're safer, safe use of that?
Yeah, so there's Deepfakes. I'm pretty sure you will know what that is. That they can be very convincing. So many people may believe that what they're saying is true, like that person said those things, right? So recently we saw this very cute video of the Queen of England having tea with Paddington.
Yes, the Jubilee.
Yeah. That was not the Queen of England.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, that was a computer generated.
Which I think is really tricky, because I think most of us, 99% of us, believe it was a real Queen.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I looked at it, I was like, really? And then I looked at like in the details because I work in it, so I know what we are capable of doing, and I know how to detect some things. And I was like, okay, that was not her. So it was just approved by her, but that was not her actually doing the sketch, right? But the thing is, the normal user is not aware of that this technology exists and how good it is, right? So we have technology to generate faces from just random white noise signals. There's a lot of bot accounts that we are able to detect them. We are able to detect that those are bots because the face in the image is fake. Like there's no person with that face, so we are able to detect that. So there's a lot of effort from different institutions to pump money into research teams that can have better models to detect, okay, this is fake, this is true. So if this is fake, we're gonna take this account out and maybe block it or say like, hey, this is most likely a bot. Now, we may say like, okay, why is people developing these generative technologies that can generate a new face or that can manipulate content? Because we can synthesize the voice. So we could take a politician and make him say or her say whatever we want, right? Because we could change the face expressions, we could change the voice, we could synthesize it. So that's pretty dangerous also from a social or political standpoint. So many institutions they are encouraging the research community, the scientist community to develop better models to detect this. So recently Singapore had a competition for okay, let's see who's the one who can develop the best system to detect such things. Well, it's where we are going, right? You might ask, but it's like, why are we generating those models if they are dangerous?
Maybe, exactly.
Yeah. But the thing is, they can also bring a lot of benefits in terms of society. If you're going to this new paradigm of being in a virtual space or something, maybe I want to be in a virtual space, but I don't want to offer my image, and I want something that will represent me, right? So I want to give my privacy, while also feeling like, oh yeah, that's me. And then I can have a system take like a face from a bank of faces, which maybe not from a real person, maybe like automatically generated. And I can be like, okay, you're gonna take this face and you're gonna change the hair to be more like longer, shorter, let's put some earrings on it, like things like that. So that eventually the face that is generated is more similar to me. And even with this face, the technology nowadays will allow me, nowadays, it's still, developing, but in the near future, we will be able to take one picture and from it create like a 3D model of my face, right? And then I can be mingling on that virtual space with my friends or whatever, with something that looks like me, but I haven't given my own image. So from a privacy standpoint, that's pretty important also. Do the benefits,
surpass
the cons? Well, we'll see.
We will see.
Because if we get very good at detecting the fakes, then they will, right? Because we'll be like, no, this is a fake. You're trying to cheat me, or like, hey, watch out, this is not a real person, right? Something like that. So we can have that.
Yes. Well, maybe in some years we can have 2 avatars doing the interview for
us. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, thank you so much, Anna, for giving us an overview of the new developments here in social media in Singapore and worldwide. Thank you very much for listening.
It was a pleasure.
It has been a tremendous pleasure to just hear all the human perspective of social media and your opinion on the debate. I'm really sorry for bringing up the debate happening right now, but the information has been really, tremendously useful for us.
Those are important debates.
Yes.
So it's good to talk about them.
So have a thought about that and listen to Anna's opinion and create one of your own. Thank you so much for listening and see you in the next interview.